This is a DIY LED fidget spinner. It's yet another one of those soldering kits I received from my brother. I know that this kit is a surface mount kit, so that's going to be really interesting and fun. But I think now it's time for us to take a look inside and see exactly what we get. Okay, so we have the main PCB here, and this has all of the LEDs that need to be attached. A IC here, a capacitor and a resistor. We also have a collection of components in here, including that IC just there. We have our hardware that includes the battery clips that we need to install, a button, a bearing and some screws so we can assemble the case, which is this part here, two-part case with a couple of small attachments. So we can see here the kit doesn't come with any instructions. So let's take a closer look at these components, and we have a bunch of resistors here. We have a couple more resistors, a single capacitor, our IC, and then three different colors of LEDs. And so these ones appear to be blue. They have a blue stripe painted on them, drawn on them by the packager. Have some here with a red stripe. And these ones here have a green stripe. So I think we actually probably have more LEDs than we actually require. So on the board here, we have D1 to D11. And if I count here, we have 6 blue, 6 red, and 6 green. So we actually have 18 LEDs, and we only need 11 in these diode positions just here. Now, again, I've looked at a picture of the fidget spinner in its assembled state. They filled the top section with blue, the middle section with green, and the bottom section with red. And so I think that's what I'm going to do here as well. On the resistors, I'm going to take it that these are the required resistors. So we have 13 resistors here. And again, we only have 11 resistor slots here. So I think we have more than enough for that. And then again, this packet of 2 resistors here would seem to be the single resistor that needs to go there. So if we take a closer look at these resistors, we can try and see what these say. So these ones are 101, hopefully you can make out. And then these 2 here, hopefully you can see these are 103s. As I say, we only have a single capacitor here, and so that one must be the capacitor for our C1 slot here. Now, I'm going to start off with the IC because that's in the middle here, and we will see how we get on. So let's warm up the soldering iron and get started. So I'm going to tin just the one pad here and then try and slide the chip on. So hopefully you can see the dimple at the top right there, and that's the pin 1 marker. So we can see I tinned just here, and this is that same end of the chip. So I need to make sure that goes round the right way. So we just warm up that pad and hopefully slide the chip into place. Okay, so that's pretty well aligned. I'm going to do the pin on the opposite corner, and then I will reflow that one at the top because there's a little bit of a jaggy, sticky out bit on that solder which I'd like to resolve, but this is pretty well aligned, so let's stick with that for now. And there you go, that's flowed really nicely. So now we can clean up the other side and do all the other pins. Okay, I think these are all probably soldered reasonably well. We'll find out, I suppose, when we get to actually operating it. Maybe I could put a touch more on a leg or so, but I think these are all connected. This side in particular seems pretty good. Hopefully that's focusing for you. This side, a little bit less so, a little bit more crusty, which is why I did a little flux there. I did have a bridge as well, which I had to resolve, but hopefully that's all connected correctly. Okay, so next I'm going to put in the capacitor and this R12. Okay, so those two components are soldered, not particularly well, I would say. Had a little bit of trouble there with the capacitor tombstoning, and I think I overheated it when I was setting it down again, so that's a bit of a problem. Hopefully that's going to be okay. And this resistor here is in not too badly, but not my best work. So let's go ahead and fit a whole bunch more resistors down here and see what happens. Okay, that's all the resistors done. They're not quite as neat and tidy as I might like, but they are all in place and I think they're all connected properly. So let's move on to the diodes. So in the diagram I've seen online, we have 4 blue, 4 green and 3 red to make up our 11 diodes. And so that's what I'm going to do using the ones I have here, just to match the existing layout. So these are my 4 blue diodes. And if we look carefully on the PCB, we can see a little negative sign on the left-hand side here. Hopefully you can make that out. And so we need to make sure the diodes are round the right way. And we can easily do the check for that by using a multimeter. We can put it into diode test mode, like so. And if we connect, we should see a beep because this is, or hear a beep because this is continuity mode as well. But we can take a single LED here and we can make sure it's up the right way. And then we can test it round each way. So this way we're getting nothing. So if I swap the probes, there you go. So that way round it's lighting up. So there's actually a very light green mark on the left-hand side here, and that indicates the negative side. So we need to make sure the green mark goes towards the negative side and the other side goes to where I've already tinned these pads. Okay, so that's all our LEDs in as well. Again, not my best work, but they are all in place, so that's not too bad. Next, we need to put in the hardware style components. We have a switch, of course, here, and then the 3 battery terminals as well. So those are in this bag here. So I'm going to start with the switch. And again, this is a surface mount switch, so it just goes across here. So again, I'm going to tin a pad and try and slide the component into place. Okay, switch is all in place. Now we just need to put in the battery terminals. So we have 3 of these, and these actually go in like so. What I'm going to do is just pop them in, and there's little tabs at the back here, and these line up with the tabs on the silk screen, and so you can see where they are. And mostly they retain the battery so it's facing inwards. But in this case, of course, there's a switch in the way. So we need to make sure the tabs are there, otherwise we won't be able to get the batteries in. And you've seen me make that kind of problem before, so let's make sure we get it right this time. So we should be able to slide the battery in from here and in from the center here, and that is the way this silk screen is indicating. So that's all good. Let's just solder them on the back. Okay, that looks quite good. We have everything now attached. As you can see, these take CR1620 batteries, and so that's again not the standard button cell that we would use. But in this case, I have gone ahead and purchased some again from eBay. So here we have some 1620s, and I'm going to pop 3 of those in now before we do the final assembly. So these are positive side up. So slide them in like so. And there we go. We actually have all of the LEDs light up. So that looks quite promising. And if we press the button, we're getting all on some kind of pattern effect. And then off. Okay, good. Let's try doing some assembly then. So I don't have any instructions for this. So we're just going to have to go ahead and see what we can do. It makes sense that the switch goes under this piece of plastic here that allows us to do that. Press the switch, that would be handy. It's going to make sense that the bearing goes in the center. And then I suppose this can just go on top and be screwed down. And there you go, we're already pressing the switch with the plastic. So let me grab a screwdriver and insert the 3 screws, although we seem to have 4 this time. Okay, so we're all screwed together. These pieces here seem to just go in the middle in the bearing, so we can easily fiddle with this. So let's turn it on and see what happens. Oh, look at that. Neat little pattern. Let's try with the next setting. So now it's doing the pulsing effect. Ah, and there you go. Nice little fading effect. So I hope you found this video about this DIY soldering fidget spinner kit interesting, and I hope to speak to you again soon in the next one.